Hi everyone, this is my snap review of Raw from May 10th, 2021. I'm just going to be really quick because I'm about to watch NXT, which I recorded on DVR. So, there was a nice little opening there about, what happened last week. We finally saw the video package of the Pyro again, so hopefully this becomes more consistent, as from what I believe I've heard, WWE is going to try and start touring by the end of the year, probably starting around SummerSlam, which will be awesome. But so hopefully they keep the pyro going, which I expect probably the Raw theme and everything to change by then. The same with Smackdown. After that, everyone, we saw Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke taking on Charlotte, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler. This match was interrupted halfway through by the arrival of Alexa and her playground with Lily. A lot of people have been kind of crapping all over this one part that happened, and the match was really good. There was the only thing that kind of well, I can't say really, really good. The match was okay. It was good in the sense that a lot of things made sense in there. It was only, there were a couple of botched maneuvers in the match, which I think lowered the points for me for this match. But the thing I was okay with that a lot of people complained about was Alexa Bliss using some, evil powers to basically control Shayna Baszler. This part was fine to me, but I know a lot of traditional wrestling fans don't like this stuff, but WWE's done the supernatural stuff for a while, so I have no problem with it. So, Team Asuka, Mandy, and Dana, they won the match, and that was fine. I actually accidentally forgot to circle who won the match. Anyways, then we see New Day, Riddle, and Orton. They show up. At one point, Riddle mentions the possessed doll of Alexa Bliss. Because because Orton shows up behind him as he's as Riddle's saying some things about the tomato incident last week, and he says "Oh, who's behind me? Is it Lily, that evil doll?" That part was funny to me. So after that, we saw, of course, Orton showed up, and of course, just more great stuff with RK Bro along with New Day. We then saw MVP with Braun Strowman. MVP trying to work out an arrangement with Braun Strowman to help take out Drew McIntyre. Then we saw Damian Priest and Adam Pearce, joined by Miz and Morrison. Morrison's just hilarious to me. Miz is funny too, but Morrison's just he's the gift that keeps on giving. He's like the Sami Zayn of Raw. So, of course, Morrison offers to fight Priest and says that if Priest defeats him, that Priest will get to choose the stipulation for the match, and vice versa. So, if Morrison beat Priest, then Miz would have control over the stipulation of the match at Backlash. Jinder Mahal returned and had a promo. He had a new entourage, which was, what was it, Veer and, I can't remember, try to write down the name, Janky, I guess? Anyways, so I made a comment on Twitter about this, what the hell has Jinder Mahal been feeding the Singh brothers? This was not the Singh brothers. This tag team, which I've already forgotten what their name was, they were managed by Malcolm Bivens in NXT, and they were only there for a few weeks in NXT, before their story was apparently abandoned, and they were just kind of lost to the sands of time, if you will, last year. But either way, they're on Raw now, and they're kind of like the new head shrinkers in a way. I don't know, it kind of looks like that. Alright, then we move on. Jinder Mahal defeats Jeff Hardy in a match that was just way too short. Like someone else pointed out, there was no build, although I think they've been having a feud on Main Event, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, I was happy to see both of them on Raw, and even happier to see Jinder Mahal actually getting a victory for the first time in who knows how long. I mean, he is a former world champion after all. So is Jeff Hardy. But anyways, Elias, Riker, and Styles and Omos preparing for their 8-man tag match later on. Elias and Riker are just being kind of stupid here, but of course the real story is with Styles and Omos, Raw Tag Team Champions. We then, of course, move on from here. RK Bro and the New Day defeat Elias, Riker, AJ Styles, and Omos in what I thought was great. Omos, he may not be the most talented in the ring, but he's better than the Great Khali, which, I wasn't someone who hated the Great Khali, but it's just worth noting that the Great Khali was limited in skill. Either way, this gave you a great opportunity for RK Bro and the New Day. Gave me a really funny moment when Randy Orton did an RKO on both members of the New Day, and Riddle's like, Randy, how make any friends if you keep doing an RKO on everybody. Like, that part was hilarious. Then we see Sonya Deville with Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Apparently, Charlotte and Rhea and Deville are kind of like in cahoots, and you know it. Rhea Ripley and Asuka know it, and of course they have a match. And Rhea and Ripley and Asuka know that this is a plot from Charlotte to try and wear them down before their match at Backlash. We see MVP and Lashley in an interview, getting us pumped up for the main event. Of course, the main event being Drew versus Lashley. Not Ashley. We see Sheamus with a promo, which was pretty good. And then Humberto Carrillo and Sheamus had a match that was preemptively... It was ended prematurely, only because there was a bad spot. It was botched pretty badly. It looked like a serious injury where Sheamus landed very awkwardly on top of Carrillo on a spot outside of the ring. And yeah, Carrillo could very well be out. We don't know if he is injured for sure, as of the last time I heard anything. But he could very well be out of commission for a little bit, sadly, because he's on a roll, and it's just really sad to see. Lucha House Party having a promo, kind of reminding you that they are still to be taken seriously. Then we saw another Evolution, vignette, which was okay. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin had a really good match. Shelton Benjamin won with the T-bone suplex, which was really cool. And of course, hopefully this is not the end of this feud. I think it might be, but it would be a mistake because I think Cedric Alexander has a lot to offer in this industry. Angel Garza, almost called him Hector Garza. Angel Garza is posing for pictures when Drew Gulak comes up and confronts him about having a rose shoved up his ass last week, which was a funny spot. And of course Garza's like, what's the problem? No big deal. He's just nonchalantly brushing this off, but Gulak is like, hey, you're going to get yours. And so I'm glad to see these two actually getting some serious TV time. And speaking of serious TV time, we have not seen the 24/7 championship in a minute. And I'm kind of concerned because I want more R-Truth, damn it. Anyways, moving on. Rhea Ripley then defeats Asuka in another pretty good matchup. Of course, Charlotte Flair had to get involved, but Rhea Ripley got the victory. Drew McIntyre had an interview. I always like Drew on the mic. He's just pretty good. He's a good talker. He's a good wrestler. He's just the total package. And I think he's just becoming an even better wrestler with each passing week, it seems. Morrison then lost to Damian Priest in a fun match. And the post-match, Miz and Morrison kind of beat down Priest, kind of leading us into Backlash with what you could suspect is the last laugh rule, which should suggest that Priest is going to win it. Evolution has another promo video, a little bit different this time. Pretty good. Looks like she's going to be a valet for a women's wrestler, which is okay. That's pretty good. Damian Priest then takes on Adam... Well, not takes on. Damian Priest is then with Adam Pearce. He says he wants a lumberjack match. He mentions monsters and aliens and stuff being in the lumberjacks, but disregard that. That was just all joking. Lumberjack match should be fun. Karrion Kross then with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory in a promotional video for NXT, which happened here tonight, and I need to watch it. Really cool to see that promotional video during Raw. It really got you amped up because they were talking about tomorrow night, meaning NXT. I don't know. It was really good to see that. I'm glad McMahon's letting that stuff go on at length during Raw. Drew McIntyre then defeated. Sorry. Drew McIntyre then defeated Bobby Lashley by disqualification when Braun Strowman interfered. Strowman and Lashley then took out Drew. They had a handshake moment, and now we see the cards being stacked against Drew McIntyre. But this could very well signal that Drew McIntyre is going to win. But I'll issue my official predictions on the eve of Backlash. So everyone, that was Raw. Now it's time for me to watch NXT. Hi everyone, it's Dana Crawford here, and I need to do a quick rundown of all the shows I didn't review yet, which of course range from NXT on May 11th all the way through Smackdown, which of course was last night, May 14th. So, and then I'm also, right after that, going to offer my predictions for WrestleMania Backlash, or as I'm going to just call it, Backlash. So, let's get right into it. NXT from May 11th, 2021 was, I thought, a perfect show. As close to perfect as you could get. It started off with Karrion Kross taking on Austin Theory in what was a really good match. Karrion Kross picked up the victory, much to the horror of Johnny Gargano. We then see Finn Balor and Karrion Kross meeting face to face, indicating that probably in your house, takeover in your house rather, you could very well see a rematch between these two for the NXT Championship. You saw Leon Ruff demanding that Regal give him a match against a Swerve, I'm assuming. This, of course, was interesting because Ruff did not want to accept no for an answer, and he kind of exploded, pounding on the table, saying, "I want that match." But Regal was telling him, back off, hey, know your place. MSK then defeated Breezango, and what I thought was a pretty decent match. Once again, there's a lot of people who hate on MSK, and MSK does this thing. It kills me every week that they do it. But they do this thing when they're coming out, and they're like standing right up against like whoever's standing at the cage there from the audience. And every single time they do that, the person who's there is doing this number, booing them, and I die laughing every single time because it's like they're almost like they're trolling these people, and it kills me. I like MSK, but it also kills me that they're almost trolling the people who hate them. So I love it. Regal and Gargano then have a little confrontation here because Regal is telling Gargano that he has to defend the North American Championship against, the one and only Bronson Reed, who I am a really big fan of. So then, of course, we move on from that. We see Pete Dunne having a promo, and he is confronted by Leon Ruff, and then Pete Dunne and Leon Ruff have a really good match, and Pete Dunne wins. But once again, it was a great match. I can't stress enough how close to perfect this show was. It was just great. I mean, I didn't see a single flaw with it because everything just flowed. Because then we move on to a great promo from Legado del Fantasma. Great stuff. We see a vignette for... Excuse me. I was trying not to do that shit. Anyways, we see a vignette for Frankie Monet. Apparently she's going to debut next week on NXT. That's coming up Tuesday. Women's Championship match. Raquel Gonzalez defends in a great match against Mercedes Martinez. She, of course, retains the championship, as I expected her to. Bronson Reed in the way, and security, you see security trying to break up Bronson Reed and the way. So this, interesting here. Of course, Bronson Reed was attacked by the way. Swerve has a great promo, introduces his new group. Well, I think they're called Hit Roll. I think that's the name of their group. And it's just a great group. I really like their stable. So looking forward to seeing what they're doing in the future. Cameron Grimes, another amazing segment between him and Ted DiBiase, my absolute favorite segment of the week, period. Because DiBiase beats Cameron Grimes in in an auction, and it just murders me. This is one of the reasons why I watch the actual shows and I don't watch the highlights, because you'll miss these moments during the highlights. It's just great stuff. Plus, I don't feel like having some smark tell me what's good and what's not good about these shows. Moving on, we then see, Storm, Tony Storm, and Zoe Stark having this video promoting their match, which I think is going to be this coming up Tuesday. So good stuff there. Kyle O'Reilly and Oney Lorcan have a little bit of back and forth. They end up having a match. Of course, the back and forth was a pre-recorded thing that happened, apparently. But Kyle O'Reilly defeats Oney Lorcan in another great match. Then we see Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, who returns. Getting into it, Bobby Fish, of course, tells O'Reilly like he's happy that he and him are now engaging in a singles careers. One of the best tag teams in the industry, I think, is these two. But anyway, they're moving on their separate ways. And Bobby Lashley, excuse me. Oh my God, I don't know why Bobby Lashley came in my mind. But then Bobby Fish tells Kyle O'Reilly that he'll see him soon. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell have like a little bit of a video bragging about their victory, but portraying them as comic heroes, which was pretty funny. Bronson Reed then has a promo about his matchup next week. And after that, we see the Cruiserweight Championship match. Kushida successfully defends against Santos Escobar in a best 2 out of 3 falls match for the Cruiserweight title. Excellent way to end the show. Just great stuff here. I don't see how it could have been better, honestly. I really don't see it. AEW then has a decent show. It's not the best, but it was decent. Kicks off with the New Japan US title match. Jon Moxley successfully defends against Nagata, I think that's what his name. I didn't really care about this match, but it was still good for what it was. So Moxley predictably retained. Inner Circle then had an interview. Pretty good stuff there. Talking about how, this is not over yet with the Pinnacle. Cody then, of course, made an announcement that he's going to be going toe-to-toe with Ogogo. But it was really, I thought it was overly patriotic, this whole us versus them mentality. I'm over that in wrestling. I mean, I get it. I'm not saying that you should condemn it or, ban it forever. It's just, I don't care about it. So, it doesn't make me care about a feud or hate a feud. It just kind of disconnects me from it, that's all. SCU then had a pretty decent video. but I didn't think they were going to beat the Young Bucks. This apparently will lead to the split up of SCU, supposedly. But Young Bucks retained the tag titles. They mocked the whole "I'm sorry, I love you" moment from WrestleMania. WrestleMania 24. Michael's last victory at WrestleMania, actually. But anyways, Young Bucks retained successfully, as you might predict. Then, of course, Moxley and Eddie, we see them, getting geared up here. Good stuff. Christian had an interview with Matt Sydal, kind of interfering in that. This is one of the first segments in a while for any wrestling, AEW included, where I wasn't really into it. I like Christian, but he's kind of like in limbo here. Like, I don't get the point of why he's there. Like, I love Christian, but I don't get it why he's there. Anyways, Matt Sydal and him are probably going to have a match before too long. We see a no contest with Orange Cassidy and Pac. Originally, when I was watching this, I hated the ending. Because I thought, like, man, that's go out with no contest, have them both challenging for the world title. But apparently Cassidy rang his bell. He had a concussion. So, bad stuff. They're kind of scary. So, it's kind of sad. I'm assuming that Cassidy was supposed to win it. That was what I was predicting all along. But yeah, now they'll move on to kind of a triple threat for the AEW world title. And then, of course, Omega and I'm trying to look at my trying to look at my notes here. Look like Don Callis. Omega and Don Callis coming out, sort of rubbing this no contest in the faces of Pac and Cassidy, saying, of course, obviously Omega's going to win, which I actually think he will retain. I don't see why they would, unless they're actually going to put the world title on Cassidy, which honestly I think would be a mistake. I do. Like, they have not done a good job booking him. The Good Brothers and Young Bucks have a little segment, okay, good stuff there. Dark Order and Adam Page, probably the most interesting part of the night. As Page is just like, he's falling off a cliff here. Sadly, he should be in the world title picture, but he's not because, booking is just, it's the 50-50 that people claim WWE is. Like, that's what it is in AEW right now. So Page is just in limbo, but kind of hinting maybe at a heel turn. I don't know. The Pinnacle had their coronation ceremony interrupted by the Inner Circle with them dousing the Pinnacle in the bubbly, which was funny, but obviously trying to relive the famous moment with Steve Austin just showering the McMahons in the ring with beer. Just, that was a classic moment. Just you can't duplicate that. Then we see Britt Baker, and probably my second favorite moment of the night in her interview. Great stuff. Britt Baker should be the women's champion. Why she has not been up through now, it's criminal. Like, I love Hikaru Shida, but AEW sucks at booking the women's division. When are people going to realize this? They suck at this. Hopefully Britt Baker can save it. Anyways, moving on. Thunder Rosa then has a squash match. I wrote squash match on here because I didn't really care about the segment. I love Thunder Rosa, but the squash match, I didn't, like, they don't really talk about her opponent all that much, or it just kind of went in one ear and out the other for me. Guys, okay. Moving on, Jade Cargill had an okay interview. Like, they do these interviews or these some of these video spots, and like, I'm not too into AEW's production. Like, they suck at it in my view. I'm sorry, I'm spoiled on how WWE has like the excellent video production quality that I've gotten used to, but that's the standard I have. So come on, AEW, you say you're the elite. Where's the proof? Except for your in-ring action, like, which obviously 9 times out of 10 is great. Anyway, moving on, Darby had a little video package here, which was good. Probably my third favorite part of the night. TNT title match. Darby Allin loses the TNT title to Miro. And why do I sound surprised about that? I'll just briefly get into this. The way they've booked AEW, the way they've booked Darby Allin and Miro in the weeks leading up to this has not led me to conclude that Miro was going to become did not lead me to conclude that Miro was going to become the TNT champion, or any champion for that matter. Like, yeah, maybe later on down the road, world champion, but, Omega is just booked so strong, I don't see, other than Adam Page, who can beat him. And that should be who beats him, is Adam Page. But Miro becoming TNT champion, like, almost out of nowhere, it really confuses me. Like, is Darby injured? Like, oh, I don't know. It's just, the way they booked him, it seemed like it made more sense for Ricky Starks and Ethan Page to feud with him for the TNT title. But instead, they had a whole thing after the match where, Starks, no, oh my god, did I say Ricky Starks? Sorry. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, where they feud with them. But no, now they're going to have like a weird, like, handicap feud with Darby Allin, maybe with Sting too. But either way, Darby, I'm sorry, And although you're not being buried, in my mind, this kind of buries you to a degree. And Miro's championship reign will be short, I think, sadly. And I don't lasting very long. It should, probably for a year, but it won't. Anyways, that was AEW this week. May 14th, 2021, Smackdown, another amazing show. Some great stuff here. I'll just run it down here. Opened up, as has been the usual case here, with the great promo segment and building up for the pay-per-view with the Bloodline, which is Roman Reigns and the Usos with Heyman. Of course, Jimmy Uso's not officially in the Bloodline yet, but you know that's the direction they're going. But this was just good stuff. Is Jimmy going to join? Is he going to be on the sidelines? Is he going to go home? Like, you don't know. They're leaving you with that mystery. Jimmy's like leaning towards no, but then things happen in the ring with Cesaro that leads him to come back. Something tells me that's going to play a part at Backlash. We'll see. Anyways, women's tag team title match comes up next. Great match. We see Natalya and Tamina make history and become women's tag team champions. This was great. I'm happy for both of them. Natty finally has a championship here, and so does Tamina. Great stuff. So, of course, Natty and Tamina have an emotional interview. Good there. Paul Heyman then has an interview in the back where he's like warning against Cesaro and more or less saying like, hey, Cesaro, you're going to get yours. Of course, in the previous segment, the beginning segment, we see Cesaro basically challenging Jimmy Uso, or being told to challenge Jimmy Uso to prove, because Roman's like, hey, Jimmy, you think you could do my job here? You think you could become Universal Champion and defend it successfully? Prove it against Cesaro, and that's what leads to that. So, sorry, I kind of got that mixed up in my head. We see Apollo Crews, who I'm loving. I know he's got this stupid little accent there, you know, obviously fake. Obviously a little bit of maybe a hint of racism there. But this thing with him and Aziz was great. Interrupted by Big E, then Sami Zayn, then Kevin Owens. A lot of chaos here, but it wasn't stupid chaos. It made sense. So, just good stuff. Rey Mysterio then defeated Dolph Ziggler, which I'll get into more about that here in a second. Which was a really good match. Post-match was also entertaining as well. Cesaro then has an interview. Building up this whole notion that he is a legitimate threat to Roman Reigns. I really like that McMahon is taking him seriously. That, creative is as well. Mysterio's then have an interview talking about the significance of possible first ever father-son tag team champions ever in WWE history. But then, of course, they're interrupted by the Dirty Dogs, who I love. But also, I'll get more into that here in a second. Bianca Belair has an interview. She's talking about, her pathway to becoming champion. Bayley interrupts it. These two go back and forth. Bianca says, she's going to get dirty here, and go low against Bayley. And, of course, Bayley doesn't like that because Bianca points out, that while Bianca was having her WrestleMania moment, Bayley's WrestleMania moment was getting beat up by the Bella Twins. So, yeah, good stuff. Good TV. Shinsuke Nakamura has a decent promo. I enjoyed it. Then we see a promo by Baron Corbin setting up for their matchup. And then after this, we see Apollo Crews and Aziz going up to Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce steps in and says that, hey, Apollo, you're going to defend the title against Big E. Actually, I think he says it's going to be, more than just Big E, if I remember correctly. Deville, not happy with Adam Pearce. Of course, she undermines Adam Pearce in front of the athletes, and Adam Pearce is not a fan of that. Shinsuke Nakamura then, of course, has a funny video piece because after the whole thing with him and Corbin, which they had a match. Sorry, I skipped over that, which is unfortunate because that was a pretty good match. It was decent. It was short. Okay, I wrote a number down here. I gave it an 8 out of 10. So it was short, but it was okay. But after the match, Shinsuke Nakamura stole Baron Corbin's crown, and then we see Nakamura with the crown putting it on. It was actually funny when he first put on the crown in the ring. I was laughing the whole time. And then we see him after the whole Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville and Apollo Crews and Aziz segment. We see Nakamura again with the crown, just him worshiping it. Basically, it's hilarious. Another excellent piece with Aleister Black. If it wasn't for the awesomeness of Cameron Grimes and DiBiase's segments, this would be my favorite segment of the week. Because this stuff they're doing with Aleister Black right now, I'm loving every second of it. And it's makes me want to salivate because it's just great TV. I can't wait to see what they're doing with Aleister. But this stuff right here is building him up to just be amazing. And I love it. Every second of it. Aleister Black is getting the attention he deserves as a heel. And this is great stuff. Jimmy Uso then has an interview. Cesaro defeats Jimmy Uso by disqualification with the interference of Roman Reigns. Then we see Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns, Cesaro, Jey Uso all getting into it, preparing us for Backlash, which now we're going to get into Backlash prediction time. So as of right now, I looked on Wikipedia just to confirm what I thought I knew. There are 6 matches, only 6 matches for Backlash, which is going to be good. Probably just be 3 hours, exactly. Bobby Lashley will take on Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. There's one of two things are going. Braun Strowman is not winning this. Sorry. And if he does win it, I will be absolutely shocked. A little bit stoked, for Braun. But I believe Bobby Lashley is going to win this. Only because I think it might be a little bit too soon to take that title off of him. Drew McIntyre, in my view, has to be the one to take it off of him. Not that it will ruin anything with him not being the one to take it off him, but I think it makes more sense for Drew to defeat him to become 3-time champion, maybe even at SummerSlam. But we'll see. Bianca Belair, I think, will defeat Bayley for the Women's Championship, or Raw Women's... oh my God, not Raw. SmackDown Women's Championship, rather. It's just way too early for Bianca Belair to lose. She literally just won the championship last month at WrestleMania. They're not going to take that title off of Bianca Belair this early. And if they do, I will be stunned, and I might even be a little bit angry, because Bianca deserves this moment. And Bayley is amazing, but they might just want to move her to Raw. Although she's awesome on SmackDown, just kind of shake things up. That's why I also agree with others that the draft should be after WrestleMania the way it used to be during the first brand split. The Raw Women's Championship, the triple threat here. I don't know the exact order of all these matches, but we don't even know which match will take place on this pre-show. Hopefully none of these do. But Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. Any of these 3 women could win the match. The way they've been booking them, I think, books them strong enough to where any of them can win. So they want you to think that. But I think, just like with Bianca Belair, it's too early to take it off of Ripley. I think Ripley's going to win. But there's also a very strong chance that Charlotte could also come out of nowhere and win. So keep an eye out for that. But I still think Ripley's going to win. The SmackDown Tag Team titles, I think, personally, these are the only titles that are going to change hands. Because I think the Mysterio is going to win, make history. The trick to this, though, is, number one, I do really enjoy the Dirty Dogs. They're one of my favorites in the company. However, you have the last laugh rule. And Rey Mysterio got the last laugh on SmackDown. Usually that means the Mysterios would lose. It's part of what had me on the edge. Because I thought, hey, if Mysterio loses, gets beat up by Dolph Ziggler, that means that at Backlash, the Mysterios are winning. But sometimes they'll throw you a curveball. Because they made the Mysterios look strong here. But after that, in the post-match interview, they made the Dirty Dogs look like, hey, we're going to pull one over on you. So, they want you to expect the Mysterios to win, but they also want you to expect that, hey, Dirty Dogs could very well come away with this and steal it. So I think that the Mysterios are going to win. It's another one I'm kind of up in the air about, but I think Mysterios are going to win. Roman Reigns, I strongly believe, will defeat Cesaro. I am so happy that Cesaro is getting in this awesome push. However, he's not beating Roman Reigns, and I think Jimmy Uso will play a major role in the outcome of this because it's the way it's been booked. And they've been doing everything perfectly with this. I literally want Roman Reigns to hold this championship for probably like 2 years total. At least. Because I want to see him reign in terror over everyone, and this will be excellent. A lot of people will probably go tired of it, but I will not. And I was not even a fan of Roman Reigns not long ago, but he is killing it as a heel. But, so if Cesaro somehow pulls off the victory, it'll be because Jimmy Uso. But I believe Jimmy Uso will either reluctantly or willfully side with Roman and join the bloodline officially. Just great stuff. Or maybe we might see Jimmy Uso accidentally cost Cesaro, possibly, and then I would love to see them do a spot where Rikishi gets beat up by Roman Reigns in front of his sons. That would be great stuff. I think that would be amazing TV. Anyways, also one last match here I see listed: Damian Priest and The Miz. I know this is not the main event. I kind of listed it out of order. I just listed it according to what I saw on Wikipedia. Damian Priest is winning this. It's his moment to shine. Sorry, Miz, you're eating so many losses, but this is building new stars, and Damian Priest is the star of tomorrow. Although, I guess he's in his late 30s, early 40s. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He's talented in the ring. Good stuff. Good TV. Looking forward to Backlash. Hope you are too. We will catch you next time.